right, we're here with Lieutenant Governor Lee Fisher. Lee, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you, Nick.
First question, when are you going to have a website up?
Very soon. I know that a couple of my friends in the blogosphere have been critical because our website didn't get up, but I want to be honest with you. I'm the Lieutenant Governor. I focus on economic development, and to be honest with you, the campaign isn't in full gear. But let me tell you something. I understand the internet, and you'll see a website up soon. You'll see an internet presence. The first 10 days of the campaign will be a distant memory. I don't think you judge a 2-year campaign for the United States Senate on whether or not your website was up in the first 10 days. But should you have a website, you better believe it, and I will, and I'll have an internet presence. But I admit my job as Lieutenant Governor has kept me pretty busy these first 10 days of my campaign, and I just haven't been able to focus on it, but I will soon.
All right. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, obviously, you've headed up the Ohio Department of Development for the last year and a half, 2 years, and obviously those have been challenging economic times, not only for Ohio, but for our country as a whole. What are some of the things that you think you've accomplished over there that have been overshadowed by the bad overall economy? What are the good things that are happening, despite the bad economy that we're not hearing about?
Well, you know, Nick, even in tough times, you can get good results. And we have tough times, and there are people who are having trouble paying their bills, paying their mortgage, putting food on the table, and they have to be our first priority. Lifting up the middle class, reaching out to them, not bailing out banks, but maybe bailing out families should be our priority. And I can tell you that Governor Strickland and I, every single day for the first 2 years plus of our administration, have made economic growth and development and job creation and saving jobs our #1 priority. As a result, you know what we've done. We've been able to create more than 50,000 jobs. We've saved close to 200,000 jobs. We've trained about 85,000 Ohioans with new skills, either to keep their jobs or to get new ones. We have brought in lots of companies from out of state, but more importantly, we've helped companies right here invest, small, medium, and large. One company, for example, in Ohio, that I want to keep nameless for now because it's I don't want to do anything to hurt them, was in danger of falling apart. And they called me, and the mayor of that city called me and said, would you come in? Bottom line is I came in, I spent a lot of time working with the company, working with the mayor. We were able to give them some financial help. That brought in some private investors, and the bottom line is the company went back into business and people saved their jobs. So we've got lots of stories like that.
Good. Well, hopefully you'll get a chance to tell them during the course of this campaign.
Sure.
Given that you've been the director of the Ohio Department of Development, you must have some unique perspective on what Washington can do to drive economic growth in Ohio. What are some of those things that you plan on taking with you if elected to the U.S. Senate?
Well, first of all, there are too many people in Washington who just don't get it. They've never, been anything other than government. Their whole lives, they've just held political office. They've never been in the private sector. They've never been in the public sector. They've never been involved in state government. They've never saved a job. They've never created a job. They've never run anything. I think we need people who get it and understand what happens in the heartland of America, not inside the Beltway. I've purposely never run for federal office up until now because I felt that, frankly, they didn't get it. But now, after all my years of experience as a state senator, a state representative, an attorney general, a lieutenant governor, president and CEO of the Center for Families and Children, I think I am prepared to bring hopefully a dose of reality to those people in D.C. and say, wait a second, stop the old tired solutions that got us into this economic ditch in the first place, this trickle-down economics that is elitist and focuses only on the wealthiest and focus on the middle class. Sherrod Brown has been a great voice for that. Sherrod and I have been friends for a long time. We sat next to each other 28 years ago in the state legislature, and I would be very proud to be Governor Strickland's partner and Sherrod Brown's partner in the Senate. Governor Strickland supporting me in this effort, and he's doing it not just out of friendship, but because he believes that I'm the best prepared and best qualified Democrat in the state right now, other than himself, because he could do it in a heartbeat, to run for the United States Senate.
Well, along those lines, with our Democratic Party now controlling both the House of Representatives and the Senate and the White House, it's expected that 2010 might not be as fruitful an environment for Democrats to run in as 2006 and 2008 were. What is your plan for running and winning, in that kind of environment that might not be so friendly to Democrats as the last two election cycles have been?
You know, there's an old adage that the best way to predict the future is to create it. I'm not going to worry about things that I can't control. I can only worry about the things that I can control. You know, you've probably heard of the serenity prayer that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and to change the things that I can and have the wisdom to know the difference. I think I have the wisdom to know the difference that I can't control everything that's going to happen in the political environment, but what I can control is how I behave as a public official, the accomplishments, the kind of campaign that I run that's true to my values. And I believe that based upon my record, based upon my knowledge of the issues, and based upon my ability to mount a grassroots campaign, no matter what the political environment is, whether it's positive or negative for Democrats, I believe we'll win.
All right. During the debate over the stimulus bill that we just saw passed, there was a lot of emphasis on infrastructure and transportation, and it kind of exposed the fact that our infrastructure has been underfunded for quite a long time. What would you plan to do if you were in the U.S. Senate to bring a 21st century infrastructure to Ohio and to the country, and how would you fund it?
I've been a long time champion and advocate for what's called multimodal transportation. In other words, not just using highways and cars, but using our ports, using our rail system, having high-speed passenger rail. That's the way of the future. And the states that get ahead of it are the ones who are going to not just survive this perfect storm, they're going to thrive. And so for too long, we've had a Department of Transportation that was really a Department of Highways. We need a Department of Transportation that focuses as much on rail and other modes. And frankly, now under Governor Strickland's leadership, we do. And so what I want to do while I'm Lieutenant Governor, and if I'm fortunate and honored enough to be elected to the U.S. Senate, is to be one of the champions for reducing our dependence on foreign oil and making sure that we have a rail system in Ohio that is a clean system, that is a green system, and that's also an efficient system for moving people back and forth throughout the state.
One of the things that we've really seen in this financial crisis has been how the deregulation of our financial markets has kind of created a situation that isn't advantageous to our economy and it isn't advantageous to Americans. Going to the U.S. Senate in 2010 would put you in a unique position to help rewrite some of the financial regulations that our economy runs under. What are some of the ideas for that?
One of the many lessons from the global financial crisis is that you don't take care of business by closing your eyes and turning your back to it. And that's exactly what the Bush administration did. Their focus on deregulation meant hands off, let everything happen. Anybody want to do anything, go ahead. That is not the way to run a government, and it's certainly not the way to make sure that the little guy is protected. We need to have oversight, and I can tell you we had it under Bill Clinton. We lost it under George Bush, and Barack Obama will bring it back, and I will be his partner in that effort.
All right. One last question. Looks like we're going to have a contested primary for the U.S. Senate in 2010. There's been a call amongst members of the progressive blogosphere in Ohio for candidates to avoid or pledge to not ask the Ohio Democratic Party for a pre-primary endorsement. What is your feeling about that?
My feeling is the Democratic Party should be able to do what it wants to do. And it's interesting to me that some of my opponent's supporters believe that Jennifer can't get the endorsement, so therefore the best strategy to do is to say there shouldn't be an endorsement. That's usually the way it works in politics. I respect that. I'm sure that some of those same people, if they thought that Jennifer could get the endorsement of the party, would be saying the party must endorse and engage in the most important Senate race we've ever had. So you know what? My feeling is that I respect that, but my feeling is it's not up to me. It's not up to Jennifer. It's up to the people who serve in the Democratic Party. If they choose not to endorse, that's fine with me. And if they choose to endorse, that's fine with me too. But as long as we've had a party, it's been the party's decision, and it seems to me they should have the right to make that decision. Every candidate who's ever run for public office in the history of womankind and mankind has tried to get endorsements. And so it's a little disingenuous to suggest that maybe when you can't get the endorsement, you want to mount a campaign so no one can get the endorsement. That's not the way the rules work. And so with all due respect, let the party decide.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Lee Fisher, for talking with me, and have a good afternoon.
Hey, thank you. I enjoyed it, Nick. Thanks.